Yeah, and it's what's really interesting on the business as a biz ops partner I was talking to. They sell to a totally different line of business, the CMO, right? But they don't always have the support of the CIO or the IT team. And so to be able to leverage that from our
Ah,
sales teams, and then our
right.
sales teams able to broaden their footprint with another, business unit. It's such a great marriage, right? And so that has been really fascinating to see as well.
So let's talk about Agentic for ISVs. What's important and how should ISVs be thinking about that?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter who I'm talking to at this point right now. So many of our ISVs are trying to figure out how to create agents and what to do with them.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inside Partnering. Chip Rogers here, and I am so excited to be joined by Allison Johnson. Allison, welcome.
Thanks so much, Chip. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, likewise. So we've been talking about doing this for a little while, and finally
Hmm.
we got something scheduled, and I'm just really excited to be chatting with you, Allison. So just as by way of introduction, Allison is director of America's Technology Partner Team for AWS. And gosh, Allison, 9 years with AWS. That's amazing. You're getting ready to get is it the red badge? That's 10
I
years.
know. I can't believe that. That's going to
Yeah.
be crazy. Yeah.
So
I've
long
never worked
time.
at a place this long. Longest
Yeah.
has been like 5 years.
Yeah. So you were prior to AWS, you were with Partner Path and Partner Consulting, but you've always been in partnerships going back to Oracle and Saba and Wild Tangent and a lot. You're longtime partner person.
Yes. Yeah. I started outside of college at Oracle and I went to a couple of startups and then took a break and raised my little kids. And that's when I was doing the Partner Path Consulting on the side. So I was off for about 7 years, did some part time work, and then came back to AWS in 2016. Yeah. Yeah. Almost 9 years.
That's amazing. That's congratulations. And by the way, congrats on the recent promotion as well to
Well, thank you
director.
so
So
much.
really exciting and well deserved.
Thank you.
So Allison, why don't we start and just tell us a little bit about your role at AWS and what you and your team are up to these days.
Yeah, I manage the America's Technology Partnerships team. I and my team are responsible for all of the technology partnerships for the Americas region, spanning some of our largest infra partners to biz apps, industry, some of our smallest Gen AI partners, and our onboarding partners, or the ones that we intend to go get. I also have a small team dedicated to SAP. So, yeah, that's what my remit is.
So that's a lot because I know ISVs are so critical
So
to
critical.
AWS. Yeah.
Yes.
And everything from startups. AWS has a terrific startup program to really get
Hmm.
people early on understanding and adopting and getting connected into AWS and both technology wise and people wise.
Yeah, I have a peer that manages the bulk, like about 150 of our startups, and then I do the rest. That's my peer Jeff Grimes, but I do get to work with a lot of startups as well, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, and ISVs are very critical to, especially our journey right now as it relates to agentic and Gen AI. They're a critical component of adoption of the products and the tool sets that we have. And then also just if there's some areas where they help enhance our own offerings. Yeah, it's just, I feel so lucky to be in this role at this time in history.
Hmm.
I was with a colleague of mine a couple of weeks ago at the Startup Summit. We went to visit a couple of startups in San Francisco. And when we were driving back, I was telling her, I'm like, we're so lucky to have these jobs. This is so much fun.
Yeah.
Being able to work with our partners, like our biggest ones, is they're trying to transform themselves, right? They're trying to figure out, what am I doing with SaaS? Am I moving into agentic? How does that look like? Do I have to build an agent for an actual application? Do I want to embed it into my product? And then also just some of our smallest ones that are growing up on Bedrock first, and they haven't even started to figure out Marketplace yet. So it's like every conversation is unique and super interesting. I'm learning all the time.
That's great. It is amazing. And especially with AI, things are changing so quickly and there are so many startups that are just popping up out of anywhere with great ideas and around AI. And what
So
better
true.
way? AWS is a great place to get it started.
Oh it's so much fun. The Startup Summit was really eye-opening on a lot of the different products and tools that our partners are creating with us. So yeah, it's really exciting.
So let's talk about that, Allison. I think AI is just what everyone wants to understand and apply in their business and for their customers. And agentic, of course. And I know, back in the spring, AWS MetY announced the Agentic Marketplace, and it started with 900, and then it was 1,200, and now
Yeah.
I don't know how big it is, a couple thousand or something. It just keeps growing. So let's talk about Agentic for ISVs. What's important, and how should ISVs be thinking about that?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter who I'm talking to at this point right now. So many of our ISVs are trying to figure out how to create agents and what to do with them, and what are the products that we have, what are the tools we have to make that easier for them if they want to build them themselves or use some of our off the shelf applications that we have. Early on, when I started in this role about 8 months ago and started going around and meeting with our ISVs and going to some of our summits, when I saw the interest in that was so overwhelming, I challenged my team as we have started to use our own AI products internally to really learn how our products and tools work so they're comfortable talking about it. This should not be like need a big engineering degree to have these conversations, right? So I challenged my team to create their own agents to automate their own work. And so we call it our agent check ride process, but it's using our tools to create an agent to simplify their work. We're creating a library of agents that our team can actually use, but it also makes us really confident and comfortable when our ISVs are asking us, how does that work? And how do I use Hero? How do I use Amazon Q? What is this quick suite product that you just announced? We're actually using it ourselves. And here's how I used a flow to automate a process that was super manual and would take me 30 minutes, for example. And now I can do it much quicker. So that has been a huge, I feel like, an advantage and just an ability for our teams to really lean in and learn about our products so they can really talk about them with confidence with our ISVs.
That's such a great idea, because I think it is so eye-opening to actually use AI, but any product, but use AI and really understand deeply, right? It's like until you actually use it and try it and do it and you succeeded at it, then they can really lean in and just be like, oh, and get excited about it, right? I
Yeah.
did this, and you could try this, and you should do this, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And I really built this off of when I was on the marketplace team. I was the third hire on the marketplace channel team back in 2016. And when we started rolling out products and we would tell our ISVs and our channel partners, they're so easy. But we had never used the products ourselves, our marketplace management portal. And so we went through a very similar process where we did a marketplace check ride, where we had to actually use the management portal, figure out how to make a private offer, how to extend reseller authorizations, what were the features, how does reporting work, all those things. And I just built off of that because I didn't want my team to ever feel kind of caught flat-footed with a question if they couldn't answer it, and they'd have to get
Hmm.
an essay resource or something to come in and help them. And it really makes us relatable to our partners as well. We're like one of them when we're using the products just like they are and we're trying to figure them out. It also helps us, most importantly, get the feedback from them on what is and isn't working. And we're so fortunate to work with engineering teams that are constantly asking us for feedback and how we can make our products better. As you've been talking to Matt Y, I mean, we built everything on Marketplace based on our partner and our ISV consulting partner and ISV feedback. It's a really good loop with having us in the middle of that as well.
That's terrific. What are you hearing from ISV partners around building agents and building their own AI solutions, and how should they be thinking about working with AWS? What are some of the things that you guys can help them with?
Yeah, we have several workshop opportunities to be able to work with us and our SA teams if they're looking to customize and build their own using products like Agent Core, which is all the modules you need to be able to create a custom agent running on Bedrock through LLMs that we have available, Anthropic, Nova, and others. We also have off the shelf agents, Transform, which helps to accelerate those legacy workloads to the cloud, the VMware, the .NET. We have Amazon Q for business, Amazon Q Professional. We also have Amazon Connect for customer service applications. And then we also have off-the-shelf agents available in Agent Marketplace that was launched back in, we talked about that earlier, but launched back in July at the New York Summit. So it just depends on what the partner wants to do. This is a really key topic and a key differentiator for our ISVs, but also something that gets a lot of mind share at AWS as we're trying to build a rounded offering and story with our ISVs, right? What does your marketplace posture look like? What are we doing with marketplace? How are we building goals against it? How are we doing that? How do the migrations look? Do you have lots of customers that are on premise that we want to move to the cloud? Like how are we doing that together? And then with the AI piece, as well as integrations to all of our other services, as many that we have that make sense for the ISVs, right? We want to make their product be really easy to use alongside our own services and make it look as first party as it can to our customers to make their experience easy. And like all of these are really like the chapters that we talk about with our ISVs, or the components that we talk about with them. And a lot of these can make up the components of a strategic collaboration agreement that we sign with them as we start to really engage in a tighter partnership with them.
Yeah. So I'd love to dive into that. Before we go there, talk a little bit about Marketplace. I think Marketplace is so important these days. There are so much value from transacting in the Marketplace, and it just smooths out the process. And you've gone international in a big way. Talk
Oh
a little bit
yeah.
about, talk about
It's
Marketplace.
it's the first route to market, right? For our ISVs who want to do anything around co-selling with our reps and tapping into that sales team, right? It is like one of the first topics that we have. We have many partners that can help our partners list on Marketplace. They could do it themselves. It's a pretty simple process these days. Obviously, it involves providing so many procurement benefits like consolidated billing, faster procurement, flexible pricing, customized terms, all of the different containers and the different types of products you can buy on Marketplace. And really, I will say that it started out as a self-service, full-price platform. We went way into the private offer side of the house. We've come back full circle to product-led growth, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about with those listings that have SaaS free trials, contact me for a private offer, those things.
Yeah.
Really becoming a lead generator for ISVs that want to use it in that way. But more and more, just like honestly, it is just the way that our customers want to buy today. And you think about traditional procurement, and you think about the huge teams, and you think about the new procurement professionals that are coming up, like my daughter that goes to the University of Washington here, and she doesn't want to talk to anybody. She does her own research. She buys everything online. She doesn't want to make a phone call. She self-serves all of her things because that's the way she's bought everything her whole life. So this just really is the way that customers are procuring today, right? It's not just about the commitments to AWS, the spend commitments or anything like that. It is truly the way that customers are buying today. And a lot of infrastructure business, as customers are figuring out the cloud and they're trying to figure out how they're secure in the cloud, we see a lot of infrastructure business through Marketplace, but also more and more biz apps, industry solutions as well. So as customers get comfortable with it, they go on to buy more and more products and more types of categories of products as well. So it's such a cool journey to have been on with AWS. I think it's the fastest growing thing that I've ever worked on in my career.
Employee number 3, come on.
Yeah, it was exciting. It still is. It's awesome. Like some of the features that we have coming out at reInvent, I'm thrilled about. So it just keeps getting better.
Yeah. No pre-announcements here though.
No, I can't do that.
Okay. It's so true. I was talking to John Brule, who's the head of partnerships for Flowcast, I think last month or the month before. And he was talking about, he was like, he said, I've trained the sales team that you need to work with procurement because they go and talk to procurement and procurement says, oh, you can transact on AWS Marketplace. Great, done.
Yeah.
Becomes a competitive advantage for the ISVs to close deals.
Yeah, and the fact that we have like multi-currency support finally. Like I have ISVs I work with who are like, hey, we got a customer in Europe and APJ. We don't even have anyone over there. Like it's so cool to see the internationalization of Marketplace. We just launched India. I think it was last week. So it's like all of these new features, I'm on like all the email lists. It's so cool to see them happening because I've been a part of the team who've been saying, we have to have this. And so it's really cool to see these features
See it
coming
actually coming.
and then to talk to partners who are using it and the value that they get from them. I was in a meeting just last week, and it was the first time, maybe the second time I was meeting with the partner, and I was with all the salespeople, all the sales leaders, and all they did was talk about, oh my God, I'm mandating this for my reps. Like, I'm telling them they have to put in all their deals in ACE, so they have to get in touch with their AWS rep. There's no substitute. Like, I'm mandating it. It's no longer, oh, I don't know if I want to, I'm not sure. Like, the thing that is interesting is when I go and meet with new companies, a lot of times they'll have a salesperson who had success with Marketplace at their prior company. And so they'll be the new VP and they come in, they're like, oh, we got to do this. And so it's really fun. It's really great to see how much it's grown.
Yeah, I think the co-sell and getting connected to the field and getting aligned, right, between the AWS salesperson and the ISV sales, like that, then that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, and it's what's really interesting on the business is a BizOps partner I was talking to. They sell to a totally different line of business, the CMO, right? But they don't always have the support of the CIO or the IT team. And so to be able to leverage that from our sales teams, and then our sales teams able to broaden their footprint with another, business unit, it's such a great marriage, right? And so that has been really fascinating to see as well.
That's terrific. So let's go back to, you mentioned the strategic collaboration agreements, SCAs, and I see you are quoted a lot of times on SCA announcements. So I know you're intimately familiar and integrated into that process, but talk a little bit about what's the value of an SCA?
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that really, is it executive alignment? Is it the co-sell process? Is it funding, MDF fund kinds of things? Talk a little bit about what is the value?
Yeah. So we have different flavors, right? But in general, we have thousands and thousands of partners. There's such a small percentage that participates in these contracts with us. And it's just, they're super critical for a certain point in the partner journey or the relationship with AWS. A lot of our ISVs obviously start out as customers. And then we get to a point in the relationship where it's okay, like I'm consuming and I'm doing this and you guys are helping me build my products and stuff, but I want to be able to really tap into that sales team that you have there and really be able to figure out how I can do some co-sell with them and co-marketing and building. And so there's usually like those three components: the co-market, co-build, co-sell. Co-build is typically around integrations they want to build to specific products that align really well with their product. If they want to be in a console, there's many different types of co-build. Also, obviously, Agentic and GenAI can be a big component of that as well. Co-market is like the demand generation aspect of it. Are we sponsoring the sales events, the SCAs? What are we doing around webinars? Like, how are we generating demand for the product, working with them? And then co-sell is the actual, what is the amount of revenue we want to drive the sales teams? How many leads do we want to create together? What industries do we want to focus on? What sales team specifically makes sense? You don't really want to boil the ocean. You want to be really targeted. What's super critical in terms of the SCA is having the alignment with the sales team. It's great to have the alliances and obviously the technology leaders for the build aspect. The marketing leaders are important too. But if you don't have sales alignment with any of this, it doesn't go anywhere, right? And that's where it can die. And then if you're a channel first ISV and you do all of your business through your channel partners, if you don't have the alignment of those partner teams in the ISV who manage those channel partners, or even the channel partners understanding Marketplace, it can die there. So those are really critical components to have on board to be successful with any SCA. And then what we do is we sign it's usually like a 2 or 3 year agreement with a set of goals that are agreed to like on both sides, with certain funding available through credits and cash. And what we do is like every quarter, we will go through a QBR and rate ourselves against the health of the SCA and see if we're tapping into the funds. Typically a lot of pay for performance metrics there. And are we tapping into the funds and how are we using them? And are we progressing and moving the ball forward? Yeah, it's a great way to center a strategic partnership around.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's planning and setting goals and then quarterly business reviews and managing the process and making sure everything's aligned. And that's fantastic.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It's a super helpful tool to advance our partnerships forward.
Yeah. You mentioned goals. What are some of the things that separate from SCAs, but just how do you like, how should ISVs be thinking about what they need to do to be successful? How are they being measured by AWS?
Yeah, it depends on the ISV and the point of their journey, right? So if you don't, SCAs are a little bit out there after you've really got a product, or you're moving to the cloud, you have a cloud product running on AWS. We're putting gasoline on that fire, right? Trying to,
Hmm.
it's like something that's in motion and we're going to just build it bigger. When we're just getting started with really new partners, we have our one team business plan that we'll create like in the beginning of the year. And we'll have a set of metrics that we talk about with them. And they're basically focused around revenue, joint revenue with us, ACE opportunities, if there's any sort of specific build mechanisms that we want to do around integrations or anything where it makes sense to, if they haven't even started listing on Marketplace, that will be a milestone that we want to get going. Foundational technical reviews, there's the PAR integration, making sure your product is integrated to our services so you can see the consumption in our customer accounts. There's a whole bunch of different metrics that we use depending upon the maturity of the ISV.
Hmm.
So it just depends.
Yeah. And I'm no surprise that the first one was revenue.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, right?
For
Yeah.
both sides,
On both sides,
right?
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Terrific. You touched on industries, and I
Yeah.
think that's become something that's over the
Mm-hmm.
last, I don't know, 18 months or a couple of years, that's become a real
Oh,
focus
yeah.
for AWS. Talk a little bit about that. I think that's one of the ways that, that partners can, as you said, they can focus, right? They can be very specific about what their value proposition is and who their customer is and what the use cases are and things like that.
Yeah, and it can sometimes get tricky, right? So we realigned our sales team by industry back in January of 2024. Most of our ISVs are not big enough to need an industry focus or don't have one, or they're just trying to get their next deal, right? And so it's really not about having our ISVs match up to our industries and sell the way that we sell. It's more about understanding from our ISVs where they're strong in what industries when we get started with them. And we're trying to develop a relationship with our sales teams. And if they're just getting started, I think the best advice is let's figure out which 2 or 3 industries that you really have a lot of customers in, where you're strong in, so that we can start to get some relevance with our sales teams. And then we can build on from there. And just understanding where you play and having that customer knowledge. Because you think about it, our sales reps have been doing this for about 2 years. And we do have many industry experts. We have overlay teams. But for the average rep, having an ISV who's like really strong in TMEGs or financial services, and if that rep doesn't have that knowledge as much, or they're trying to get into that organization within the customer and they haven't been able to, that's a huge value add that an ISV can provide to them. And then hopefully they're able to return the favor by relationships they might have in the IT team or insight into what is happening. Yeah, just being able to understand our industries and how
Hmm.
we're set up, and then speaking that language to our sales teams helps a lot. And this has typically been somewhat of a manual effort, but we're working on some more ways to automate that to make it a lot easier.
Yeah. Awesome. You also mentioned channel partners, and I
Yeah.
know CPPO is something that came out about a year and a half ago, something like that. Talk a little bit about
2018, Chet, 2018.
2018. Oh my
October
gosh, was it?
2018.
So a little longer than a couple of years ago. So talk about CPPO and working with channel partners with Marketplace.
Oh, yeah. When I started, I'll tell you a little story. So when I started on Marketplace, we didn't have private offers or anything. It was our first private offer in 2017, took about 6 months, small one with a bank. We were so excited, high-fiving each other. Oh my God. And these customers were telling us, hey, this is great that, that I can buy this stuff full price, but I'm in procurement and I don't buy anything without a discount. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was the first one. And it was a couple of months later, we had another customer that said, hey, it was the day before the ISV's end of quarter. I want to buy this, but I want to buy it through my partner. And that was the very first CPPO. And like for 2 days, I was writing the contract with the legal team. We were putting it all together based on a couple of direct private offers we had done. And this partner that we had not a super tight relationship with was like, if you can give me the contract, I can get it turned around. And within 1 day, after we did our work, we were able to close it with the ISV and the partner. And I was like, oh God, we got to go figure out who all these partners are. We got to build some features for that. This is amazing how fast that turned around. Yeah, we have to turn this around. And we just had been hearing a lot of feedback from our ISVs that we really can't transact without our partners, all of our channel first ones, especially our security ISVs. And our customers wanting to buy from their trusted advisors. So we launched CPPO back in 2018, and it has gone through many iterations. CPPO is the flagship feature. There's many other features since then. We're on par development-wise with all of the direct features as well. So flexible payment scheduler and all the different enhancements that we do when we have new reporting features available. We have them for channel partners as well as ISVs. That wasn't always so tightly aligned in the beginning when we were developing. And we've really made it a focus because so much of our business goes through channel. And the channel has changed so much. So in the beginning, it was resellers, traditional resellers, right? And then now, when we launched professional services back in 2020, you start to see the GSIs and the SI partners really interested in it, right? And they're listing their professional services. What you also see is our SIs turning into ISVs themselves, right? Mm-hmm. They can offer professional services, they make their own software, and they're a reseller. So those lines have blurred so much between our channel partners, where they used to be so distinct. And now a lot of them are MSPs now, where they started out as resellers. So that has been really interesting to see as well. And then the introduction of distribution and how important they are to specific ISVs we work with, and the value add that they provide, and creating features like DSOR and Buy with AWS to enable our distribution partners to offer our catalog on their own catalogs and in their own website, so they don't have to direct customers back to us. So it's been such a cool journey to be on with our partners and getting their feedback on how to improve our products and keep making them, front and center.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah. Allison, this has been terrific. Gosh, I really appreciate you taking so much time with us and sharing what's going on with you guys. And you're just like slammed with all the reInvent prep things going on.
Yeah, it's busy.
It's only 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's the countdown. Like we were definitely in the countdown. It's cool. It's so fun though. Yeah. I mean, you've been there. You can't really tell anyone who hasn't been there how to prepare for it. You just kind of have to experience it. There's nothing like it.
65,000 people of your closest friends, right?
Yeah.
I always feel, oh my gosh, there's so much that was there that I didn't even had noticed to cover it all.
I know. You arrive somewhere, you finally get there, and then you're like, oh God, I'm supposed to leave in 5 minutes, but I want to see these people. Yeah, it is crazy, but it's awesome. I'm excited.
Yes, thank you, Allison. I really appreciate you taking the time, and this has been fantastic. You've shared so much, and I think with that, I'll see you at reInvent in a few weeks, and thanks again.
Yeah, I really look forward to seeing you. Thanks for having me on your podcast. It was so fun.
For sure. Yeah. So thank you, Allison, and thank you all for joining another episode of Inside Partnering. And if you enjoyed our conversation and want to hear from other partner leaders as well, hit the subscribe button and you'll be the first to be notified with new conversations coming out. So thank you all, and we will see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Allison.
Thanks.